Well, greetings, people of the internet. Unky Joe here. Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today, we're going to play with a router. So what router do you ask? Well, this router right here. The Synology RT2600AC. Now, I picked up this router years ago. I don't even remember when this router came out. I don't know how old it is or how long it's been around. I'll try to find out that information for you. But I picked one up a few years ago in the hopes that this would be the one router to rule them all. It turned out it wasn't, and for one very simple reason. I mean, this router kind of filled the bill for everything else, other than it had no VLAN support. And that was frankly just a deal killer for me, especially in a home lab environment. You gotta have VLAN support. And frankly, in my opinion, it was rather short-sighted of Synology to do that. So here we are all these years later, and now Synology has released their SRM, their Synology Router Manager version 1.3, that will work on this RT2600AC. So today what we're going to do is we're going to install that software onto this Synology RT2600AC, and we're going to go get our feet wet and play around with it a bit. So let's get it started right now. All right, so what I've done is I've set up a lab machine, a router lab machine on the one subnet, so 192.168.1. whatever. I've put the Synology router, it's currently behind me on the bench, and I plugged the WAN side into my switch on the bench, and I plugged the LAN side into the switch on the bench. And I've given this an IP address of 192.168.1.254. So it's on a separate subnet from my 5 subnet, so it's not interfering. And then what I've done is I've created a virtual machine here on my Dell 210 that is strictly for playing with the router lab equipment. And I've set it up with an IP address on the one subnet. Now, what I've done is, in order to update to the release candidate of 1.3, you have to first update to the 1.2.5-8227. So I'm going to go ahead, I've downloaded that, I'm going to go ahead and update that now. And it tells me it can't be shut down during the update. So we'll let the update run, and we'll come back when I'm complete with that. All right, so now that I've got it up to 1.2.5-8227 update 5, I should be able to go and download the update to get this up to 3. However, if I go under device, one thing that troubles me about these Synologies is it is really underpowered for what it's going to be doing. Because once you start running VPN and everything on there, I don't know what the RAM capacities are of the new machines. I'll have to look that up and get back to you on it. But that is not a lot of RAM for a router, especially with if you're going to run it in a small business, which I'm not going to be doing. But anyway, I digress. So let's go to Synology's Download Center, and we'll come here to Network. Pick our RT2600AC, and then we're going to go from 227 to 131. Let's see, download it right here. Now this is a release candidate, so I'm just going to save it to my downloads folder. Now I have set this lab up so that it is actually using the Synology router to go out and do all this stuff. So it's, you know, it's a for real deal, my friend. So now what I'm going to choose, I believe, is a manual SRM update. And I'm going to browse to that downloaded file, which is right there, the PAT file. And it says the SRM version cannot be rolled back, and the applied SRM must be newer than the current one. So we're going to tell it OK. Now, it's warning us here, if you do this update, it brings the following changes. Some features on SRM 1.2 might be adjusted or removed. And you can refer to this page for further information. So if I click on that page, okay, here you go. It's going to disable SSH logins. The admin account will be deactivated by default and it cannot be used for SSH. User accounts with admin privileges can be used for SSH logins as root. The Wi-Fi networking information, no more cloud stations, smart connect schemes, Wi-Fi performance tests. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that again. Choose the location, tell it okay. Tell it yes. It's going to transfer the data to the server. Now, I have not used this because of the specific reason it didn't have VLAN support. 2 years ago when I got this router, I probably would have used it on my network. It's a great little router, don't get me wrong, except for the VLAN support. Now, keep in mind, they limit your VLANs to 5. So just, be aware. It should be enough for most people. And for even a small to medium business, 5 VLANs should be enough. I don't have any clients that I use more than actually 2 or 3 VLANs. So, all right, so we're going to let this run. It says it's going to take about 10 minutes, and we'll come back when something changes. All right, so it's rebooted, and as you can see, we have the new Synology login screen. So let's go ahead and log in and see how much different this new router is. So we can create isolated Wi-Fi SSIDs in the network center. We can do 5 local networks. So that was those VLANs I was talking about. So you can create 5 separate networks and 15 different Wi-Fi SSIDs. You can segment your network and do VLAN tagging. So let's go to the control panel and see if everything is all right here. So we still have our users here. If I wanted to log into an Active Directory domain, I could do it here, or I could do an LDAP client access. I've got, if I had USB storage on here, I could use that and put that in here. And then I could even, it's a simple file server, Mac file server, and FTP. And they even have a secure FTP server. That's kind of nice. Services, so I could enable SSH, SNMP, go out and look at my application privileges. I could even create a new certificate if I need to. I can set up notifications. I've got email, SMS, push service, and advanced. Now, under the device, you see there's our serial number, the model number, CPU, still 512 mega RAM, but I do have an SRM now of 1.3.1-9316. This is a release candidate. Looks like we've got a way to turn the LEDs on and off, both during the day and at night. We could add a network printer, and we could periodically reboot the router itself. And then down here under System, you'll see that we have the it's going out and checking and saying that ours is up to date. System database, we could update for the denial or DOH server. I have no idea what a DOH is. IP geolocation database, threat intelligence database, Google Safe Browsing. This is what I was talking about with the device only having 512 meg of RAM. You start adding all of these system threat intelligence and all that to it. It's really going to slow it down. The SRM settings, so here I could give it a name just like I can with a Synology NAS. I can change the HTTP and HTTPS connection, redirect connections to HTTPS. You know, bunch of options here. Regional options for the location we're in. Our login style, including login page title. Our Synology account, if we had one. All right, and then here under Network Center, you can see that our IP address is 192.168.5.39. So what I've done is I've connected this up to the internet through my 5 subnet. And then, so here's the internet. Here's the connection type, and you can see, as I say, I'm just going through my 5 subnet, so it set all that up automatically. I have port forwarding. I can do port forwarding, port triggering, DMC, and NAT pass-through. My local network information is here, so I can do my network. I can do IP, TV, and VoIP, DHCP client, DHCP reservation, static routes, traffic control, so I can see all the devices connected to my machine or to my router. Advanced, we'd have to enable traffic control. I could do monitoring, and I have some reporting. Again, I'm just going to kind of gloss through these really quick. So we can set up our login, denial of service protection, firewall information, services, auto block, etc. And then our operation modes. Right now I have it set up as a wireless access point. Can set up as a wireless router. All right, so it's been a day or so, and I've done some more playing around with this Synology router. And as you can see right now, I'm streaming a video behind me from Plex. It's actually I'm streaming a movie from somebody else's Plex across the internet wirelessly from the Synology router, which is right back there on the bench. I don't know if you can see it or not, because I wanted to go ahead and give a fair shake to the Synology. I'm going to go ahead and stop playing this movie right now. I've got a video playing wirelessly now on me, on the unit behind me. I'm playing it through my Fire Stick, my Amazon Fire Stick, to my TV here, and it's doing it wirelessly. And I've set up this device as the wireless router instead of using my Unify here at my office. Now, I've also set up my phone to use it. I set up a guest wireless network, and I've set up my phone to use that, and it's been using it for a couple of days. I've not had any trouble. So if we come over here to the Wi-Fi Connect, you'll see on this little control panel, this will give you an idea of the connections you have. So right now on the primary network, which is called Router Lab, or RLab for short, I have 2 devices. And one of those is my laptop on the bench back there, and the other one is my phone on the Synology guest network. And so you can see it is using pretty much exclusively 5G, and it's getting showing my throughput on here. So if we come here to Wi-Fi settings, this is where you can actually set up your different networks. You can create. I created a guest network. You can tell it, if you click on the little triple button here, you can come down here and you can edit it. This is where you can enable the radio. Now, Smart Connect, if you hover over this, that means it's a combination of 2.4 and 5 gigahertz networks, so that it combines them and determines the best connection for you. Keep in mind, though, when you do this, it will disable USB 3 and slow your USB port down to USB 2. I did notice that, and I'll explain to you how I discovered that while I was playing with this stuff. So you can schedule the Wi-Fi times it's available. You can change what MAC addresses are allowed on it, and then it has some advanced options here, which I am not going to go into. And then you can come here on your primary network and you can set up, it'll jump right over to the network center. And you can see my primary network is set up on the one subnet. So that's a nice thing. It takes you right to that. So if I go to my guest network and I edit that, you'll see I've given it a name. I've given it a password. Again, I've got the same options, Mac filter, advanced options. And I can, choose what combination of wireless. But the other thing you can do, you can schedule when this is available. So you could actually turn your guest network off if you didn't want it to be available during certain hours. I went ahead and turned this on, and I just set up a guest portal. So not only do they have to enter a password, but this causes them to be authenticated against the portal. So a little portal page will pop up on their device and cause them, or it'll ask them to be authenticated. So that's real handy for phones and tablets. Now I had a little problem with the Amazon Fire Stick. If I used the guest network for that, it would come up and it would not give me internet access. So I didn't have the time or the inclination to figure that out. So I put my Amazon Fire Stick on the RLab network. And then you have some settings you can change on your radio. You have a Mac filter. You have WPS, whether you want to turn that on or not. Right now it is turned on. And then the Wi-Fi client here. So this tells me what devices are connected, what Wi-Fi they're connected to, what radio they're connected to, their IP address that they've been given out. And you see I've got some items here on my 5 subnet, like my Amazon devices on the 5 subnet, and this is on the 5 subnet. My receiving rate and transmission rate on the devices. So it gives you a good overview of the Wi-Fi. And I tell you, I have a 2,200 square foot house. It's about 30 feet by 80 feet long, 30 feet wide, 80 feet long. And I don't have any trouble at all getting coverage on the far end of the house. I had my phone in the bedroom last night, which is on the far end of the house, and I was able to browse the internet with good speeds, and I didn't have any issues whatsoever. But one of the benefits of this device is if you do have a USB device connected to it, like I do, if we come here to Control Panel and you go here to Storage, you'll see now that I have, come over here to Storage, you'll see that I have a 500 gig external hard drive connected to it, and right now 9 gig of 500 gig is in use. But the other thing you can do is you can actually create shared folders on here, which is what I've done. I created a public shared folder on here. Say you're a mom and pop, or you're running an ice cream store or a coffee shop, and you just basically need a basic router to connect you to the internet. And then you want to do some file sharing for whatever. You say you've got a jukebox or something, you play some music and you want to be able to save your music files out to a share. You could do that. And then you could even give patrons of your network access to your Wi-Fi via the portal. So it's pretty handy to have. It is a neat feature, and it's something I haven't seen on other routers so far. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is safe access. So safe access is basically you can set up profiles to monitor behavior and to prevent behavior of certain people or devices from going to certain places on the internet. Under profiles, I'm going to go ahead and set up a profile here. And I'm going to start it. And I'm going to create a network profile. So let's do this on the guest network. Create. So this is on the guest wireless network. All right, so there we go. It's only going to affect one device, basically my Android phone running on there. And we're just going to tell it okay. Now, what it'll do is it'll create a profile. And let's go here under Set Web Filter. So right now it's off, but I could turn it on, okay? And it even gives you a little warning, iCloud private relay has been blocked. The function can be unblocked in advance. I'm going to tell it okay. So I'm going to set this up from the perspective of a guest network, all right? So I could further personalize a detailed timetable for guests. So if I click there, I could set this during specific hours, okay? There's even a way to customize these. We'll get to that in a minute. But I'm just going to turn it on for guest, and then I can turn on safe search if I wanted to, okay? And so you could even set that up for YouTube, for Google, Bing, and DuckDuckGo. It would all select what search engine functions you wish to integrate. I'm going to leave that turned off for now. And then under advanced settings, that's where you can turn off the iCloud private relay. So I'm just going to click OK, and I'm going to turn this on. So basically what I've done is I've told it on my guest network, turn on the web filter for guests. So if we come here to web filter and we go to guest, we can actually edit that. And you'll see a list of categories that we're allowed to block. So it's going to block drugs, hacking, violence, dangerous materials, advertising. Advertising websites will not be listed in the logs when they are blocked by web filters. You can actually, if you wanted to add additional domains to block, or if you wanted to specifically allow a specific domain through here, you could do that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on for my primary network as well. So I'm going to set the web filter. I'm going to turn it on. And I'm going to turn it on for child safe browsing, right? I could do it for child, employee. I could do a customized schedule, etc. So I'm going to click OK. Now, normally what will happen is once you turn this on, if somebody tries to go somewhere they shouldn't go, and if we go and look at the web filter, let's see, web filter. Yeah, I need to come here on the web filter. Pardon me. So you can see what it's going to block. It's going to block anything for adult, drugs, advertising, dangerous material, gambling, violence, and social networks. All right, so now that we have the filtering turned on for the main network, I'm going to launch a Chrome browser here, and I'm going to show you what happens. So we've set it to block social media sites. So let's say, for example, I want to go to Facebook and log in or sign up. Here's what you're going to see. You're going to get a not secure, and that's because in essence this router is doing an interception or a man-in-the-middle attack and trying to intercept that web page and send you to another web page. So because of the fact that all websites are now becoming secured, you need to have an intermediate certificate installed. I was discussing this with Sakura as to why this isn't working properly within Synology, and his theory was, and I don't know that it's true or not, and both of us have actually researched on the Synology website why this doesn't work the way it should. If you click on advanced, you can't go through it. And it gives you this weird message about you need security to go to this website. What it should be doing is it should be popping up a site that says you're not allowed to go here. What it should be doing is it should be putting up a page. I'm sorry, the content filters don't allow you to go here. For whatever reason, that is not working on this version. And it is in the forums where people have not been able to get it to work. I mean, it is working in the sense that it is blocking the website. And if we come back here to safe access, you're going to see that it is actually blocking. There was one block to the gambling website and one to social networks. So let's see, if we come here to the log file, you'll see that on the primary network on this device, it was blocked by the web filter category gambling. So it isn't broken in the sense that it doesn't filter it, but it does give this odd HTTPS security warning, when it should be throwing up a page to let you know, hey, it's been blocked by the web filter. Now I'm just going to go ahead and turn it off for this profile. So I'm going to come back here and edit it. And let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't do it here. You come here to, let's see, edit, web filter, and turn it off. Click OK. And that should take the web filter off now on this primary network. Now you can also set it up on a user case as well, but I find it's easier to do it on a device. Set it up per device rather than it is to set it up for a user. So I'll do a little research on that, and we'll see if we can't find out from Synology. Maybe Sakura thinks there's an intermediate certificate that needs to be installed in order for it to redirect properly, so we shall see. So this is the new router that Synology has come out with, and it is the reason for version 1.3 of the SRM Synology Router Manager software. So this is the RT2600AX. And as you can see, they've bumped up the specs. It's got a quad-core 1.8 gigahertz CPU. But it's only got 1 gig of DDR3 memory. They could have done more. And this is typical of Synology. They tend to underpower their units and charge a premium price for them. They do have a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port on here, as well as 3 gigabit RJ45 ports, and the WAN port can be set up as a looks like they have a gigabit and a 2.5 gigabit WAN port. So I guess it's 2 WAN ports on here physical. I don't know. I haven't seen a shot of the back of this thing yet. Hopefully Willie Howe's going to be doing a detailed review of this router if he hasn't already. I'm just trying to see if I can find any pictures of the back of the router. Now, you know, when I showed you this, the problem I was having with, yeah, there's no pictures of the back of the router. That's okay. There was an issue I was having with the parental controls and the web filtering. So like I said, I'm going to have to do a little more research on that. I'm not well versed enough in this router to say that the problem is with Synology or is with me, but from everything I've read so far, this is a known issue, and I don't know how to overcome it. But you know, we'll take a look, a deeper dive into that once we figure out how to make that work. So there you go, folks. We hope you found the video entertaining and informative as always. Please give us a thumbs up down below if you liked the video. Leave your comments down in the comments section. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and click that little notification bell to be notified when new videos come out. Donate if you're so inclined, PayPal, Patreon, and the YouTube join function. Thanks to all of you who continue to support this channel. It is greatly appreciated. Come back and see us again real soon. And don't forget, we'll see all of you on the other side. Oh yeah, check our social media links and join us over on our Discord server. We have a lot of fun over there as well.